Hi everyone, welcome to your pick a card reading. Today I had an idea for kind of a very different reading. Today is Mother's Day, but you can watch this anytime, but I decided to do a little bit of a Mother's Day special, and this is connecting to your mothers of the past. So what that means is your ancestral mothers, whomever wants to come through. Whether it's possibly your grandmother, or what I really had in mind is your grandmothers, or possibly many grandmothers that might come through that want to give you a message at this time, that want to talk to you and want to communicate with you. And so that's what we're going to be doing with this reading. We're going to be connecting to your grandmother, your ancient grandmothers is pretty much the idea, your ancestral grandmothers, so that they can give you a message. So with all that said, let me give you a little rundown if you've never done a pick a card before. The way it works is you pick one of the piles, and then I have the timestamps linked below where you can jump ahead to your reading. Now let's look at each one of the piles. We have pile number 1 with the pink moonstone. We have pile number 2 with the yellow calcite. We have pile number 3 with the bloodstone. And take a moment to meditate on all the cards. I wanted to use the doorways because we are connecting to the angelic realms, and so you can either meditate on the crystals or meditate on the doorways and see which doorway calls to you the most. I see it kind of like with this card, with these cards on this deck. It's kind of they're kind of like portals, and that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be connecting to the other side and connecting to your ancestors, to your ancestral mothers of the past. So with all that said, I will give you a moment to connect to which pile you feel is right for you, and then go ahead and jump down to the description, and I will see you in the reading. See you there, guys. Hello, my pile number 1. If you chose this beautiful pink moonstone right here, then this reading is for you. This reading is talking to your, I want to just say grandmothers. You might hear me say ancestral mothers or grandmothers. This is a message from the mothers that came before you, and we're going to begin this reading first off kind of having them introduce themselves. It might be just one spirit guide that comes through, and it might also be multiple for you that comes through. But we're going to be starting off with talking about their energy, who they were in their lifetime, and then we're going to be tapping into the message that they have for you. So I pre-shuffled, and the first cards that came out is, we have angels, we have medicine woman, or we have imprisonment or slavery, and we have baby. Okay. All right, pile number 1. So this ancestor of yours, she wants you to know, first off, that she has been watching over you. This is talking about her, and she's going to introduce her energy, but the first thing she wants you to know is, what I'm hearing is, you're not alone. She's saying that she has been there for you. She has been watching over you. I can hear that she has been nurturing you when you felt like you were all alone, and you felt like you weren't being nurtured enough, you weren't being loved enough. All those nights where you felt that you weren't that you didn't have anybody, and maybe you didn't have, what I'm hearing is, you felt like you didn't have a shoulder to cry on, and maybe you felt like you had to cry alone, and you had to bear maybe a burden upon your own shoulders. This ancestral mother is saying, I've been there with you every step of the way, that she has been a guardian angel. And she's saying that she's saying that to be a guardian angel is that it's like something that she volunteered for, that you and her had a special connection on the other side before you both incarnated into this world, and that she chose to be here for you, but on the other side, as a spiritual guide, as a spiritual guardian, is what she's saying, and as a comforter. And that there's been so many nights that she has comforted you, that you thought you were alone, and that she wishes that you could have felt her arms wrapped around you, is what she's saying, during all of those difficulties. So I wasn't expecting that message to come through so quickly, but we will be getting into more details on what she wants to tell you. But first off, we're going to be talking about her. And what I'm getting is she was an incredibly spiritual woman. She might have been a shaman. She might have been, throughout time, there's been so many different names for, and throughout so many different cultures, of course, there's so many names for women or people who practice spirituality. Sometimes they're called shamans, sometimes, they're called healers, sometimes they're even called witches, they're called all sorts of things. And regardless of what spiritual practice this person came under, she says that what she came from was a holy order, that she practiced a divine order from above, and that she used her abilities, what I'm hearing is abilities of foresight, to heal others. That she was somebody that had a deep connection to the spirit realms. She was somebody that spoke often to or tapped in often, to the angelic realms, is what I'm hearing. It's like the veil was so thin for her, and that it was almost like it wasn't, she's giving me this image of the veil between worlds, that she could see almost between worlds, and that when she looked at a person, she didn't just see their physical form. She could see their spirit manifest into physical form. And they're giving me this image of smoke, and that it was like when she looked between worlds, it was like looking through a cloud of smoke, and that's actually all that really separates us between these different dimensions, between those different worlds. She's saying that we would be surprised at how thin the how how close the two worlds are, is what she's saying. That it's almost like just a cloud of smoke that is hard to see through, but she was able to see through that smoke of the veil more clearly, she's saying. And what I'm hearing is she was someone that really practiced spirituality. She might have been an astrologer. I think what she's saying is she was a scryer. She says she spent a lot of time scrying, and that I don't know whether it was for the tribe that she was in. I don't know how far back this goes. And of course, this is a collective reading, so there might be more than one person's ancestor coming through here. But she's saying that she would scry for like the society or tribe or culture that she was in, that she was there. She used her foresight, and people would come to her for her foresight, and that she became known for this gift, and that she was also a spiritual healer, that she was able to I'm hearing herbs, that she was able to use herbs to be able to heal people, and that she was able to use her gifts of seeing into the spiritual realm to be able to decipher what herbs and what berries and what kind of medicine could be used to heal ailments. And that during her time period, this was something that was seen as it was seen as today it's not seen as that strange, that we put things together and we create a medicine. But in her time period, she's saying it was incredibly innovative, and actually what I'm hearing is dangerous. That people would become suspicious, especially when I'm hearing balms, like the medicine she would make, or the herbs or the berry combinations that she would put together or tell people that they could use to help to heal their ailments, when they would actually work. And while the people who were healed were grateful, other people, it would bring out suspicion, and like they would criticize her and say that she was of dark forces because they didn't trust the healing light, is what she's saying. And she's also saying that this led to a lot of difficulties for her. During her lifetime, she had such a connection that's so strong to the divine, she said, and that's how she could be able to heal people with the medicines, is that it was her angels during that time that showed her what things could be put together to heal another human being, and that it wouldn't just heal them on the physical plane, it was also healing people on the spiritual plane. And she's saying that this is why she was persecuted for her gift, is actually because the dark forces that had people on the spiritual plane did not want to relinquish their control over others. And she's saying that she was persecuted quite a bit, and I'm hearing that she was I'm hearing held captive for a while. I don't know if they threw her in jail or what exactly happened. I'm just hearing held in captivity, and that could mean a lot of different things. I'm hearing that she spent a lot of time in captivity, and she spent time, she said, a lot of time on her knees in that time period, that she used to really talk to her angels And I'm hearing that during that time, that's when she became the closest to the spiritual realms. Because I'm hearing she used to really rely upon them for the strength from the divine to be able to bear the pains of like being held in such awful conditions, I'm hearing. And she is saying that they gave her strength, that they bared her up, and that this actually, that it caused a blessing within your genetic line to come through. And that she's saying that the same gifts that she had, you have as well. And that she was a healer upon the spiritual realm, and that during her time, that healing was needed through understanding. I'm hearing, she's saying the herbal world more. What she means by that, I think, is the image she's giving me, is that there's healing to be found within nature. And during her time period, people did not know or understand that, and they thought that it was of evil, that it was, what she's saying is, they said she was of the devil at that time, for only trying to help people and for only trying to do the light's work. And it was because they were afraid of the power that came from her healing, the power of her knowledge. And she's saying that it's the power of the knowledge that is part of your gift and is part of your same fight as her fight, she's saying. That she was persecuted for her knowledge, the knowledge that was given to her from questioning and asking for it from the divine heavenly realms, is what she's saying. And she's saying that this opened up within her genetic line, her genetic code. It opened up almost like a portal. That sounds weird, but this is what's coming to me, like a portal through her genes that is passed down directly through her lineage. That all of her descendants have inherited this gift of this extreme connection to the heavenly realms, and to be able to see through the smoke, is what she's saying. And remember, she was using smoke as an analogy for the veil between dimensions, between worlds, meaning between the physical world and the spiritual world. And she's saying that there was a thinning, and that was her great blessing. That she's likening, I'm not going to say veil anymore because she keeps calling it smoke, that there was a thinning of the smoke between the worlds, and that that the great gift given unto her was to be able to see into these worlds, and that this has been passed down directly unto you through her genes, through her line, that she was granted the gift of having it opened up. And she said because she asked for it, and that it's available to you. And she said that she was persecuted for her knowledge and for her willingness to ask questions that she wasn't given permission to ask. And she says that possibly you have been punished for this as well. And that, well, she's not saying much more on that yet, so I think maybe that's part of the message. But let's pull some more cards. And I pulled some cards on the signs that she represents. And so let's see what we have here. I pre-shuffled because I take forever to shuffle, but I don't look at them beforehand, so I'm excited to see what we got. This is too funny, and the tarot just never ceases to amaze me. Okay, so we have Aquarius. which I was just talking about knowledge. I can't even believe that's crazy. And the first house, the body, that's exactly what we were just talking about. The energy that she represented. So she was a healer of bodies, which really, this image, this picture, I've pulled this card quite often in readings I've done before. And I feel like this image has never quite struck me this way before. I'm going to zoom in closer so you can see it, if you can. I feel like this image is a great image to explain what it was she did in her lifetime. That it was like she was raising the spirit, she was raising the spiritual, and that was healing the physical. And this was like an ancient knowledge that she's saying actually was handed down from her, from Atlantis, from a way back time, is what she's saying. That it actually came even further back from her mother's mother's mothers. So this is a heritage that goes way back that is within you. And something that I was hearing too a little bit earlier, but sometimes I get too many messages coming to me at once, and I didn't say it, was that she also wants all my pile number ones to know that this message, that even though I'm just talking about one ancestor, that because she goes way further back, she can have many descendants, many offsprings, that all you guys could actually even have some could be related and not even know, because you're incredibly distant cousins because of how far back she goes, is what I'm hearing. So I find that really interesting, actually. And it is crazy how many of us are related, and just don't even know it, that we have similar genetic lines, or that we share ancestors going way back. I've actually found that out with people I know before, and it's pretty interesting. So back to talking about her. I feel like she was punished for being an innovator. That her spirituality was seen as innovative. Well, I'm sorry, it wasn't seen as innovative. It was seen as scary because it was innovative. It was in a time where everyone was really closed off, and they were shutting their eyes to the truth, that they were shutting their eyes to the possibilities of the higher realms, she's saying. And she wanted nothing more than to tap into the higher realms her whole life. She's saying that even when she was a little girl, that this is what she would do, is that she would close her eyes and imagine seeing into this other realm, that and she would try so hard. And she said that she had to ask for it, she had to, I'm hearing, pray for it, and then it came through. And she's saying that she found that through her questioning, that is where her knowing came from. And she said to never shut off your questioning. She's saying that you might have been punished for your questioning in the past, that you might have not been cherished for your mind. And she said that you have such a beautiful mind. And I'm hearing that she's saying that don't ever back down or believe them when they try to shut down your mind. She said that even when they held her in captivity, she stayed true to what she knew. And she said that that's how we're meant to rise above. And I think she's speaking to humanity in general when she says this now, is that that's how we rise above what she's saying is what ails us spiritually and what ails us physically. That they're almost like, I don't know that they're one and the same. I don't know, but I'm hearing that she's comparing the two. That no matter what difficulties we have in life, that it is knowledge that can lift us out of the depths of darkness, and that the darkness comes from ignorance, is what she's saying. And that a great expansion of knowledge, that she is saying that to have a wealth of knowledge is way better than to have the wealth of all the jewels in the world, because the wealth of knowledge is the greatest abundance there is. That's the abundance of the universe, she's saying. And she's saying you have that in you, no matter like where you are in your life right now, or how much you might be feeling. Maybe she's saying how much you might be maybe feeling down on yourself from time to time, feeling like you should be further along or further or more of something, whatever it is that others are telling you need to be. She's saying you already are that, because you have the abundance of knowledge that's within your genes. It's within your coding, she's saying. It's within your cellular function. It's who you are. It's who you came into the world being. And that it came from her. And it came, and she's saying, and she's like not taking all the credit for it. She's a very humble person. She's saying it came from my mother's as well. That this is a great gift that has transferred through. This gift of psychic knowing, she's saying. That's who she was at her core. And she's saying that even though she had to go through hardships for it, that may be reflective of what you've had to go through in your life too. She's saying you might have felt possibly captured or captive, but in a different sense. Maybe yours was that you couldn't speak up, or that you felt almost ashamed of your mind because it was so different than others. She's saying that it's okay, because she's saying like she wouldn't change it, because even through the darkness she acquired so much knowledge. And it's the same for you, that there's so much light and knowledge to be gained even through the darkest of hours, is what she's saying. So wow, well, she seems to want to talk to you more than talk about herself, because we seem to have just jumped right on into the messages. So we're going to get more messages she has for you, but I also want to point out before we move on from that, her energy, her star signs, I feel like she could very well be an Aries. I feel like she must have something very Aries in her chart, because she feels very strong, very hard-headed, like very forthright, very kind of just a very strong woman with a mind of her own, and just, and of course, most likely Aquarius energy, but what I'm really feeling is strong Uranus energy. I feel like wherever her Uranus is, it's placed really strongly in her chart. She might have been, I don't know, Uranus conjunct the ascendant, Uranus in the 8th house is what I'm hearing, actually, because Uranus was deeply connected to her work in this life, and her character was very Aries. Very, she doesn't feel like the typical Aries of what we think of, with kind of astrological cliches. She feels, she doesn't feel like she was, I'm trying to think how to describe it. She doesn't feel like she was that kind of pushy in any way. That she was very delicate and very sweet and gentle, which actually a lot of Aries are. But I feel like she had this strong determination, this pioneering spirit, but her pioneering, what she was pioneering was on the spiritual realm, is what she's saying. But, all right, let's move on to her message for you. We have some tarot cards. So we have the Knight of Wands, the Eight of Pentacles, the Six of Wands, and the Eight of Swords. Okay, so pile number one, she's saying that your hard work is paying off. She's saying that you are destined to be triumphant in this lifetime, just like she was triumphant in her lifetime, she's saying. I don't know her whole story, of course. I don't know what became of her situation, but I feel like no matter what happened to her, she views herself as victorious because she stood up against the closed-mindedness of her time. And she's showing me that that maybe the people in your life that it's like a similar circumstance, a similar situation to what she went through in her past, in her life, was that she had people who willfully blinded themselves and entrapped themselves with their ignorance and chose not to question or stay open to all that the world had to offer them. And so they willfully bound themselves and binded themselves in their own false truths, she's saying. And she's saying that you might have had a lot of people reflecting in your life that are similar to that she's saying that they tried to bind her in their same falsities, and they were so upset that she couldn't be bound. And I'm hearing that you have that same, she's saying, grim determination that she did. And she's saying that you might have had all these people trying to bind you in this lifetime. All of these people, whether they were other family members, whether they were friends, whether it was maybe even societal influences. I'm also hearing bosses and jobs, that work situations might not have been the best for you. And that all these things, they've tried to bind your energy and tried to blind you from the truth that's inside of you. And she's saying that all of those tethers they're gonna fall away now. They're gonna be removed. And she's saying that you were about to enter a time period of all your work paying off, of true success, of true triumph. I'm hearing that it's gonna be coming from the triumph of your soul, that that you can conquer anything just like she did. And I'm hearing that she also wants you to know that good things are coming for you. Good luck is coming for you. And she's saying you don't see that and you don't believe that right now, actually. She's saying that maybe you'll even just say outwardly that you believe that good things are coming for you, but that there's you've had this blockage within your heart. But she's saying that the best times are ahead of you, actually, and good things are coming fast for you. And even though you don't see the way through the maze right now, is what she's saying, even though you don't see the way through this jigsaw puzzle of life, that there is a way that it all fits together and it all makes sense for a grander plan and a grander purpose, for your greatest good, for your greatest experience, for your greatest soul growth. And that you are meant to be, I'm hearing you're meant to be like a lion. You might have a lot of fire energy in your chart. At least this ancestor sees you as a very fiery, strong person. You might be Leo rising, you might be Leo moon, Leo sun, you might be Mars and Leo because, well, actually Six of Wands, I always forget that one's not ruled by Mars and Leo. I forget what the astrological ruler is of that one. You also might be Sagittarius, but you don't have to have any of that energy in your chart. But I feel like your spirit guide, sorry, not your spirit guide. She is your spirit guide, your ancestor. And so she's kind of calling herself that. But anyway, she's saying that all this great goodness actually comes to you from from speaking your authentic truth, actually. From speaking the truth. And she's saying to have courage. She said that it took great courage in her lifetime to speak her truth. And she's saying, yes, she was punished for it, but she's also saying she wouldn't change it. She would not go back and hold her tongue, because it was the truth that made her triumphant. It was the truth that added to her experience. It was the truth that added to her growth. It was the truth that is like that light coming out through the darkness. Like both of these two cards, I always thought of it as a sunset, but what's coming to my mind right now is that it's a sunrise. It is the light coming forth to get rid of the darkness. And she's saying that light is in you, and it's been in you all along, and you've worked so hard on self-growth. You've worked so hard on material growth, and Spirit has seen all your efforts. Her spirit has seen your efforts, and she's been there helping you, trying to give you the support, give you the strength in your arms, give you the knowledge you need, giving you little nudges of guidance. She's saying that you've never really been alone, even if you felt like this has been a hard road. And she's saying that she is always there for you. And let's pull some more cards, actually. So the next cards are Break the Chain, Ancestral Patterns, Healing, Rewrite the Future. I seem to pull that card a lot in these readings. Align your life, what is not aligned or needs to change. So I'm hearing that she wants you to stop fracturing yourself. She wants you to stop, I'm hearing pretending to be something you're not, to appease lesser minds. That she wants you, rather than to break the ancestral chain, she's saying that there was no other way to be able to, no other card to get this message to me. That she doesn't want you to break the ancestral chain. She wants you to tap into the ancestral chain. She wants you to connect to the ancestral plane and to allow them to come forth to you, to stop blocking your gifts, to maybe stop denying yourself, stop denying your truth, stop denying the truth, she's saying. That not that you are denying. I don't know. What she's saying is almost like you've allowed yourself to become fractured by these other voices around you, and that's the only thing holding you back. And she's saying, don't let them hold you back, that's the chain, and that's a chain that binds you to their energy, and you're meant to be bound to higher energy. And you have all of these ancestral mothers that go way, way back. I'm hearing from the dawn of time, that have opened up these gifts for you, that will click you back into who you were truly meant to be, into your highest, most beautiful, most aligned self. And that every little piece of what you've gone through doesn't have to shatter you. It can just add color and texture to who you are and who you're meant to be. Let's pull some more cards. We have the Seven of Gabriel. It says, stand up for what you believe in. Well, that's perfect, actually, for what we've been discussing. Stand up for what you believe in. Have confidence. Claim your personal power. Wow. And let's see. This one is Seven of Raphael. It says, time to make a decision. Be clear on what you want and take action. A need for detoxification. Yeah, she's really saying that you possibly have some toxic people in your life. And even if they're not currently in your life, they've left kind of scars on your mind that have chained you to their energy, and she wants you to have the courage to take flight spiritually and emotionally, and I'm hearing physically too, the courage to break away. And that she's saying, I'll be right there for you. I'll be right by your side. You don't have to feel alone. She's saying you're never alone. She's saying she was never alone, that the alone is an illusion, that we are all standing here together. And she's saying that you have what it takes and you have the courage. You just need to step into the boldness that is already within you, and to stop saying no unto yourself, and stop saying no to all the right people, and start saying no to all the wrong people in your life, and start saying yes to yourself. Stop saying no. Sorry, it's like having a hard time hearing it. Stop saying no to all the right things coming towards you, and start saying yes to yourself. So I really feel like she wants you to step into your power. I feel like you are an incredibly powerful individual, that you don't see it in yourself, and she's like saying, well, you need to see it in yourself. These are, it's almost like you hold yourself back with humility. And she's saying, well, don't be that humble. These things that are in you are not just in you because of you. They're in you because of me, because of my suffering, because of also my mother's suffering. These are great gifts and blessings that were handed down unto you, blessings of strength. I'm hearing blessings of forgiveness, blessings of triumph, and blessings of truth and knowledge, and the ability to ask for that which you need. And she's saying that good things and abundance is coming your way. And I'm hearing an abundance of joy, actually. And, she's kind of showing me, pointing to this image, that this is kind of like you with this image right here. That there's all these dark storm clouds possibly in her life and in the world. But she is just flying above it. Not only flying above it, it's not her. She's like riding this beautiful stallion above it. She is triumphant above it, and she's got a smile on her face. Can't quite zoom in enough. She's got a smile on her face. She's happy. She's gliding through her troubles in life because she's the victor. She is victorious, and your grandmother, ancient grandmother, I don't know what to call her, your ancestor, she's saying that you are triumphant as well. She's saying it's already in you. You just gotta unlock the bold that's already in you. And then the final card is this flower card deck. I just thought, since Mother's Day, the flowers could be interesting, and so I had this one. And it says keyword is, let me read the title. It's forest flower, keyword growth, magic, and randomness. And then I'll read this little message. It says, this is where magic happens. Seeds and patterns from the forest drop and fall into the floor. Some seeds fall and grow into plants, and some into large trees. Sometimes these small events will shape the future and make your plans into a manifest reality. So what I'm hearing the message is with that one, I don't know which way to put it, I guess that way. What I'm hearing with that final message from her is that you don't have to take huge leaps, that small steps are enough. Even small decisions or small changes in your mind make huge ripples in waves in your consciousness and in the consciousness of the world. And she's saying that we do not see, or not we, she's saying you do not see how connected every little thing is yet. But she does, because she's on the other side. And she's saying to open yourself up unto the magic of the spiritual gift that's within you, and to allow for the, like it said, randomness. I just can't I can't grasp onto the words she's saying. It's like a I'm just going to use the word randomness, that everything might not happen the way you thought according to plan, but be open to change, be open to that everything might not be falling into the places that you were expecting, but it might be falling into a better place than you ever dreamed, than you ever imagined. Be open to life is what she's saying, because you're ready for the journey, is what I'm hearing. So pile number 1, that was your reading. I really enjoyed doing this reading for you and tapping into your ancestor. I want to thank your ancestor for sharing this message with me. And if you enjoyed this message, pile number 1, I would love to hear if it connected with you. I would love to hear maybe if you know anything about this ancestor, if you know about your heritage. I think it would be really interesting to hear if maybe you even knew who this was for you. But I would also love to know your zodiac signs, as I just always find that super interesting. But with all that said, pile number 1, please don't forget to give me a like, because that helps my channel to grow. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell if you want notifications about every time I upload more videos like this. And with all that said, pile number 1, I hope you have an amazing and beautiful day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next reading. Hi, pile number 2. If you chose this beautiful crystal, I think it's a yellow calcite, if I remember correctly when I bought it, then this is your reading. We're going to be tapping into your ancestor, your, I don't know whether to say grandmother, your ancient mother, of the past, your ancestor. I'll probably use all 3. I guess ancient mother maybe sounds maybe a little insulting. So we'll see what your spirit guides say and what they want to be, what your grandmothers of the past want to be called. But we're going to begin this reading now with tapping into her energy, and there might be multiple ancestors that come through for this reading, multiple grandmothers of past lifetimes that might want to speak to you and might want to be giving messages to you. So we're going to be starting out with pulling cards, talking about who she was, talking about her energy, and then we're going to get into the messages she has for you. Now, I already pre-shuffled, but I never look at the cards before. When I pre-shuffle, I just know I take a long time shuffling. So let's see. We have ships. That's interesting. Finances. Okay. Health. We have spirituality and religion. We have forgiveness. Wow. Okay. I remember when I shuffled, this one wanted an extra card, and so this is very interesting. So your ancestor, pile number 2. First thing I'm getting with her energy is that I'm hearing that she had to cross the seas. She had to travel very, very far to come to a new land. She was an immigrant. I'm hearing that she was a wealthy woman and that she gave everything she owned so that she could come across the waters, is what I'm hearing, to seek freedom, is what I'm hearing during her time period. I'm hearing that she was an immigrant, and that she had to travel very far, and that this ship ride that she was on, that it was really scary, that especially during that time, that she didn't know where, well, she knew where it would land, but it's like, it wasn't like today. They didn't even have pictures of what it would look like. She couldn't imagine what everything would look like. And that it had to take so much bravery for her to get on this ship, to choose to travel far. She said to leave behind everything she had ever known, the entire world she had ever known, everything she had ever loved, everyone she had ever loved, and that she has a strong sense of adventure within her. But it was more than that, what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that this is a woman that did have wealth. That I'm hearing she lived a life, this is interesting, a life of leisure and luxury, at least what leisure and luxury was for her time period, which is interesting. Now this could be, I'm not getting anything on what time period this was. This could have been any time period, and where she could be traveling from and to. It could be anywhere in the world, really. But what I'm getting is that she decided to make the journey because she felt, I'm hearing, persecuted. It's similar to pile number 1's message. Persecuted for her beliefs, and that something with sickness is coming through with this. That she felt like she had to leave everything behind, and that she left her country, that she left her country or her tribe, that she was a wealthy woman, she was a woman of prominence, and that she had to give up everything she owned. She had to trade all of her substance, all of her wealth, to make this journey, to make this trip. And she's saying that it was worth it. And she's saying that what got her through this was her connection to spirituality. I feel like she really had a connection with the divine. I feel like for her, maybe she was more religious than spiritual, is what's coming through with this. And that maybe her religion was not a mainstream at her time period. And I'm wondering what the health is. I'm gonna grab another deck. Actually, no. I've got the same deck here. So just 1 second, pile number 2. I'm gonna shuffle and pull another card for the health. Okay, pile number 2. I've shuffled from 2 different decks, and this one came out, which says monk or nun, and then the 8 of Swords came out, which says frustration, restriction, and constraint. So what came to me, things opened up a little bit more as I was shuffling, and what came to me is that the health is not representing physical health or physical ailments, though I do feel like she might have suffered from that later in her life. But what she was actually referring to in this part of her journey and the main part of her life, the earlier part of her life, is that she's referring to mental health. I feel like she might have felt like she was being forced into a lifestyle that was not correct for her, and that whatever was going on within her land or the laws of her land was afflicting her mental health. That it came to her through connecting to the divine, through prayer, through her spiritual rituals, that she needed to leave her land in order to gain true spiritual freedom. And in order to, I'm hearing also to protect her mind and her body, is what I'm hearing. There might have been a danger coming that she felt. Maybe she had a vision of a danger that was coming for her. And I'm seeing that she believed deeply in some church, in some religion, and that might be a religion that was passed down to you, that you might even still be in. And she's saying that maybe this wasn't the religion of her family. She had a desire to follow this other religion, and because of that, she didn't feel like she had the freedom, the religious freedom, to be able to express herself, to be able to, I'm hearing, to serve the God whom she worshipped. And so I feel like that this weighed so heavy on her mind that it was causing her great anxiety, great stress, great upset and upheaval, that it was even weighing her down to the point of illness, that it was like making her feel sick. And that there was a purpose with this, because that purpose was to give her the courage to leave, because her karma was tied to a different land, she's saying. And so therefore she had to give up everything she owned in order to, I'm hearing that all she could have was just a suitcase to take with her on her journey, and to come to a new place where she knew nobody, to restart her life. But she believed, her belief was so strong, her faith was so strong, that God and the spirit guides would watch over her during not only her journey, but in the setting up of her new life. And that she was really excited about it. She was excited to come to this new land, wherever it was. And she was really excited for the future, that this gave her hope, this gave her light, this gave her excitement in what was feeling like a darkness on her mind, and kind of a binding. And this also made it possible for her to forgive others that wanted to keep her down in her old land. That her being able to spread her wings and take flight gave her the hope to let go of her resentment towards those who were trying to force her into a life that wasn't correct for her. And the joy that brought her was stronger than the fear of having to get on that ship, of having to journey very, very far. And I'm hearing having to journey, with a bunch of strangers she didn't even know. So this was a very brave woman. I mean, during that time, I don't know what time period, but I think, travel wasn't quite like it is today for most of human history. It was, scary and long, and can't even imagine what it felt like to have to travel on those kind of ships of old. It probably wasn't anything like the cruise ships today. So it was probably a very hard, and I'm hearing her say it was a treacherous journey, but she she needed to make that journey so she wouldn't be a caged bird anymore, so that she could, I'm hearing, sing her song of truth. Let's pull some more cards and let's tap more into her energy. I wanted to pull some cards that represent her zodiac signs and her astrological energy. And what we have is Pisces, I believe. Wow. That's so interesting, because we were talking about how strong her belief is, and we have void of course moon missing. It's interesting too. So with this, I feel like she very well might have been a Pisces. She has a very Piscean energy. If not a Pisces, I feel like she was ruled by Neptune. Neptune was Neptune is the planet of faith, and I feel like this is a woman that had her faith tried often in her life, and she always came back to this hope within her, this hope, this faith. And I'm feeling like what she's saying is, with the void of course moon, is that she felt like a stranger in her own life. In the first part of her life, she's saying she felt like she was placed on the earth, the wrong place in the wrong time, and she could see her life going down this trajectory of that was like all mapped out, and she didn't see a way out. And it made her feel sick inside, that she felt like she didn't have control over her own life. And then it was almost like this beam of light hit. There was this new news, is what I'm hearing, in her life. I'm hearing in the world. There was this brand new news that came through, and it was like this beam of light shooting forth that was like, there's hope. There's a new path that nobody else in the world saw coming. So maybe for her tribe, or her city, or her country, there was like this new city being developed, this new territory being created. And it was just like, it was earth-shattering for so many people, but it was like earth-shattering for her because she all of a sudden saw this pathway out of a life that looked stagnant, of a life that looked like she wouldn't be able to follow her own belief or be in control of her own life, that she wouldn't be allowed to make her own decisions for herself. And I hear that she rebelled and she chose for herself her own life. And she's a very feminine woman. Her energy is like very it's very watery. It's very beautiful and delicate and soft. And yet, even with all of her beautiful, soft energy, she's saying you don't have to be hard to be strong. You don't have to be overly exuberant, or what I'm hearing is even masculine, to be powerful and determined and to change the course of your world and of your life. And that she stayed this soft, beautiful, feminine woman even when she had to give up everything, even when she had slim to no pennies to her name. She's saying she believed in the divine source, and she never had to compromise herself. And I feel like that's what her life was really all about. Not compromising herself, and that the final thing she wants to say about herself is that it was like she felt like she was born into almost like a prison of circumstances. And to most people, they look like beautiful circumstances. But it was a circumstance with no air, with no choice, and no freedom, and no ability to discover herself on her terms. And what she chose was a life of discovering herself for herself on her terms. And that this hope for her came out of nowhere. She's saying it was a miracle. That's what it felt like, she said. And it was an absolute miracle, she said, that she had this opportunity and that it came just at the right time, and that she was able to have the courage to take the leap that made it so she felt like she was in the right place at the right time with the right karma. She's saying that karma is tied greatly to the area of which we live and the people that we meet when we are there. And she knew she was in the wrong place with the wrong people. And even though it was so scary, she had to change her karma and change her destiny, because she knew she needed a different one. And she did that. And then she had a beautiful, I don't know how the rest of her life went, but she is saying that she had a beautiful life, the life that she had that was of her choosing, which is what she came here for, not one that was assigned to her by someone else. So let's pull some cards on her message to you, pile number 2. So we have the High Priestess, which is a major arcana. We have the Ace of Swords. Wow. We have the Tower, another major arcana, and the Three of Pentacles. Okay. So her messages to you, pile number 2. I don't know why I said 3. Maybe you have an additional ancestor that wants to talk to you in pile number 3. But anyway, haven't done that reading yet, so maybe check out pile number 3 as well after this. But this ancestor of yours, she's saying that you have High Priestess energy within you. She's saying that maybe you don't follow the same religion that she did. And she's saying it doesn't matter. She's saying, what I'm hearing is, it doesn't matter up there. That what matters on the other side is your heart and your purity. And she's saying that you are of an order of High Priestess purity, is what she's saying. A purity of soul, a purity of heart. She's saying that this love that is within you, she's saying that it is inherited, that it's been passed down to you from her, that you have a pure, loving heart, that you care so deeply for others, and that you would give anything of yourself, just like she would for another. And what I'm hearing is that you have this amazing ability for regeneration, for transforming not just your own life, but the life of those around you. That you have this capacity to change the people, whomever you come into contact with, and to transform their life for good. When I say for good, for the better, I mean. And I'm hearing that that this is a major message to you, that maybe there's been times that you have blocked or suppressed your spiritual gifts, or held back this priestess energy in you. This, what I'm hearing, is authoritative energy in you, because you have a certain sweetness about you, a certain soft-heartedness, a certain part of you that wants to just give and be generous unto others, and just wants to love and be loved, and to be kind unto others. And she's saying that this is a family trait, at least from that it has come through your line, through her, of a very big heart, of a very pure heart. And that on the other side, that you are of a lineage of divine high priestesses, and that priestess power comes down and manifests unto you on the earth through your psychic gifts and through your psychic abilities. And she's saying that your psychic gifts and your psychic abilities are meant to be, what I'm hearing is that you have a gift of words, and that you're able to speak things into existence, and that your words and your mind and your ideas are highly, highly transformative, and that it's meant to transform the world, that it's meant to transform more than just yourself. That she's saying that you have the ability to, what's that called? When you like write things without thinking about it and then messages comes through, automatic writing. She's saying that that would be great for you because that's part of your natural gift and your natural ability. She's also saying that your spiritual gifts are like a tower moment in other people's lives, that it's like almost melting away. Is melting away their preconceived notions of what the world is or was, and that you are meant, you're gifted, you have this spiritual lineage of high priestess, pure energy of psychic abilities, and then it comes through your words, through your mind, through your capacity to speak, and you're meant to use that capacity to actually tear down structures that don't benefit others, because she's saying that she was caught up in similar structures in her lifetime, and it took courage for her. She had to take flight to break out of these structures that were holding her back. And she's saying that you, just like her, are strong of mind, and that she had to make up her mind to take flight from the structure of what was comfortable, of what was solid, and to choose, what I'm hearing is to choose freedom and freedom of thought over the comfort of stability. And she's saying that if you do this, if you really tap into your voice and who you are, that not only is it's going to be like a regrowth and regeneration for yourself, but also for the world, and that you're meant to be putting yourself out there in a manner that everybody can see you, can see your work, can hear your voice. You're meant to be known, you're meant to be famous, is what I'm hearing. And you're meant to be famous for your transformative words. You're meant to be famous for your transformative mind. And you can go about putting yourself out there in whatever way you feel is right, she's saying. But it's your mind that is your spiritual heritage, is what she's saying. And that it's your mind that is your greatest gift and your greatest blessing. And it is your mind that will shatter the illusions of this world and break through the binds of and break through the binds that are holding everybody stuck in this. And that's what she's saying, is in this delusion of stability that she had to break away from in her time. And that you are kind of already there, already broken away, but you're meant to help others. And that's what you're going to be known for, is helping others to transform and to break away from these structures that are too rigid and drowning people, like submerging people in I'm hearing in toxicity. Okay, let's get some more cards. Pile number 2. We have Awakening. Says energetic upgrade, a new way of being, integration. And we have Inner Temple. Says devotion, tune into the portal of your heart. So pile number 2. I really feel like like maybe you are just awakening to this. I'm hearing a spiritual awakening. She's saying you're having a spiritual awakening. And I'm hearing that she never had a full awakening in her lifetime. And that she's so proud of you for like going through this. That she was spiritual. And she was connected to her ancestors and her guides. And she was also independent and courageous. But I'm hearing that what I'm hearing is where she took the journey of crossing boundaries and, you know, where she took the adventure of going to a whole other land, a whole other place, and not knowing where that's going to land her, where she took the physical journey, you're taking the spiritual one, and that you are crossing boundaries and crossing the waters of consciousness and doing this on a deeper level that she's saying requires just as much bravery, if not as much bravery as it did for her to have to leave everything she owned, because you too are leaving behind that structure of maybe what you once knew in the world and choosing to ascend yourself, to raise yourself in your consciousness to a higher level. And her message to you is to tap into your heart, to tap into your heart chakra more. She's saying that will be your guide, that your heart is the beautiful blessing that you came into the world with. That is the great gift that she has handed down to you in your lineage, is the gift of this pure heart, the gift of this pure love that comes from the divine, and to show people that pure love of the divine through you. And that your heart is your key to manifesting the life you want. And she's saying manifesting the consciousness you want. The consciousness you want. She's saying that that's what you're really searching for at a deep soul level, is a deeper consciousness and a higher connection to the spiritual realms. And it's because you come from this divine order of priestesses that I'm hearing. I don't even know that the divine order she's talking about was ever on this physical realm. I think this is like your spiritual DNA, she's saying. That you come from this order on the other side of high priestesses that in other realms are very high nobles in charge of other realms. And that you were a high priestess. I'm hearing high priestess. I don't know what that means, but that you were perhaps still a young soul before you chose to incarnate here, and you came with such purity, and maybe and she's saying that maybe life has tried to knock that out of you a little bit, and she's telling you to return unto your heart. Because your heart is that connection to the higher realm. Your heart is the connection to the divine priestesses, which are your spiritual mothers, she's saying. And that your heart is going to be your guiding force that's going to light up the lives of many, many others. And that's what you're meant to do here on this earth. That you are a young soul that has kind of almost an innocence and naivety. I don't like the word naivety. I think she means like purity. That has this innocence, this true belief in the betterment of humanity. And that's why you chose to come as a young soul. And to return, that maybe this world is so harsh that maybe it has jaded you a little bit over the years. And she's telling you that it's okay to tap into your inner child. Actually, you're meant to, because it's actually your heart that is your greatest gift and your greatest guide, and it's your gift to the world. And so I'm hearing, don't block it. So the next cards I pulled is the Three of Michael, and it says, release the past, you will grow from the situation, time heals all wounds. And we have decisions. Oh, there's so many bird analogies in this. Another bird card. It says, release yourself from that which holds you back, a need to detox, unnecessary worry based on lack of self-confidence. Yeah, what I'm hearing with this is that maybe because you have such a pure heart, and like I said, you're a young spirit, even if you're older in this physical plane, your spirit is very youthful, and that you came into the world believing in people so much, and then they didn't believe in you. And then they tried to put you in a box. They tried to put you in a cage, the same cage that they tried to put her in. And that it was maybe a different time period, and the cages might have looked different, and they might have had different kinds of locks. But a cage is a cage, she said. And especially a cage on the mind. And she said that she was blessed to have that cage unlocked, so that she could be free, so that she could not be owned by anyone or anything. And she's saying you have that exact same capacity within you. Only, unlike in her time, you don't have to travel far for this. You just have to travel inward, she's saying. And she's also saying maybe there's some sort of pattern with addiction here that could be a problem, that or has been a problem in your life. Either it's you that's had an addiction problem in the past, or maybe what I'm hearing more so is that you've been around a lot of people with addiction problems, and that you've internalized their addiction issues, because you are such a pure spirit that you've taken it to heart, which were not things that belonged in your heart. And I'm hearing she wants you to allow yourself to let go of all these past people and past situations that were trying to cleave onto your energy, and allow yourself to not, I'm hearing just like, don't allow yourself to be in a cage anymore. That this whole time your cage has had an open door, and that the answers were within you. And so she's really telling you to go inwards, to connect with your heart, and to connect with the higher realms in your spiritual consciousness, because that's going to lead to a position of great fortune. And I'm hearing of really being seen and valued in this world, because you're actually really meant to change things on a big scale, she's saying. Like, you will be seen, you will be heard, and to not let self-doubt or self-criticism get in your way anymore, because that was all put in you by the dark to try and stop you. You're too powerful of a spirit, so let the light inside of you shine forth, because it will conquer all of the darkness and all of the souls that surround you or have tried to surround you in the past. Okay, so final card, because it's Mother's Day when I'm filming this, I pulled from my flower deck, and this final message from your ancestor is from, it says, from the bluebell's flower. It says, spring, joy, beauty, and I'll read it. It says, the bluebell is the sweetest flower that waves in summer air. Its blossoms have the mightiest power to soothe my spirit's care. Emily Bronte, I guess. I guess that was a quote. Bluebells fill European woodlands with carpets of blue. They are known for their scent of their appearing heralds, the essence of late spring. This card denotes it's time to enjoy the beauty of things, whatever the season. So to bring it full circle, pile number 2, I really feel like this ancestor wants you to connect, like we were saying, with the inner child and that inner joy, and see the beauty. I'm hearing see the inner beauty in you and the outer beauty in you, and allow for the spring of life. Allow yourself to spread your wings. Allow for things to feel like the beginning of things again for you in your life, because it is. No matter what season of life you're in, she's saying that this is just the beginning of your journey, and it's going to be a beautiful journey and a joyous journey, and an adventure just like she had in her lifetime. Only your evolution is even more than hers because of the depths and the highness of your spirit, and that she is right there for you by your side as you go through this journey. And to not be afraid to step into the joy and the beauty of life, because that's your guiding light and that's who you are. And to not hide it anymore, to not have to be, I'm hearing to not have to be like bashful or ashamed of the true beauty of your soul. It's almost like people shamed you for your beauty, for the beauty of your heart and the beauty of your soul and the beauty maybe even of your body. And she's saying no more. You have beauty in you and outwards within you, that you have beauty on the inside and the outside, and that this beauty is meant to shine forth in all realms, and that it's meant to be seen by everybody and not just held within you. And that's what you're here to do. So pile number 2, I really enjoyed reading for you. I'd like to thank your ancestor, your grandmother that came through, as I enjoyed giving this message to you. If you enjoyed it, or you felt like it connected or resonated with you, or maybe if you even know your ancestral heritage and you know who this person might have been, I would really love to hear in the comments section. And if you don't know, I still would love to hear if it connected with you. And I'd also love to hear your zodiac signs, because I love to hear about that. I love astrology. With all that said, please don't forget to give this a thumbs up if it helped in any way, or if you feel like it connected in any way. And if you're not already, please don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And don't forget to ring that bell if you want notifications about when I upload more videos. With all that said, I enjoyed reading for you pile number 2. And I look forward to seeing you in the future and in future readings. Bye! Hello, pile number 3. If you picked pile number 3 with this bloodstone, I think that's what this crystal is, if I remember correctly, then this reading is for you. A channeled message from your grandmother. I've said this in all the readings. I don't know whether to call this your grandmother, your ancestral mothers, or mother, your ancient mother. So I'll just kind of toggle back and forth, but we're connecting with your ancestral mothers of the past and getting a message of what they want to tell you. So with all that said, let's begin with pulling some cards. The first cards are going to be tapping into her energy. We're going to be talking about who she was. We're going to be talking about, these first cards are going to be explaining who she was in her lifetime and what her life was like, and tapping into her energy. And then after that, we're going to be getting the messages from her that she has for you. So with all that said, I've already shuffled some cards, but I haven't looked at them yet. So let's take a look and let's see. We have male, female, of karmic relationship. We have trees. We have Egypt. Okay, pile number 3. Let's get on into it. Your ancestor. I feel like she wants you. The first thing she wants you to know is what's interesting is she's coming through with talking about her relationship first off, and that she was possibly in many karmic relationships in the past, but she had one very true love in her past lifetime. And she's saying that this true love of hers, I think that she was married more than once in her past lifetimes, and that she's saying that you came through the lineage. She might have had more than one husband and more than one child that she had with these different husbands. And I feel like what she's telling me is that with the reason that she had more than one husband was that actually she was a widow and one of her husbands was killed in war, is what I'm hearing. And that she I'm just getting the message, just a moment, that she was so heartbroken after this. And I'm hearing with Egypt, you could have lineage, Egyptian lineage, but so far that's not coming through. I'm hearing this as a metaphor for where she felt like she was at. As that same pile 3, I feel like the Egypt card came out because after this great loss in her life, I feel like she was married very young, and I feel like this first husband was the karmic one. I feel like she's saying they both were karmic lovers, but like that one was more like a dark karmic lover, and then the other was more like a true soulmate, twin flame kind of connection, is what I'm hearing. And she's saying that with the first man, that as after he passed on, that she was so devastated, that she married him so young and she was so lost without him, that she's saying that he was her whole world, and at that time that was her whole life, was taking care of him and the family with him and the life she had created with him. And so when he was gone, it was like she felt like everything had been taken from her. She felt like it was like her life felt like a barren wasteland, she's saying. And she's saying that she felt like she went through kind of like this hopelessness in her heart during that time. She might have been a Taurus. I'm kind of catching very strong Venus energy with her. I feel like she went through a period of more than depression. I'm hearing devastation, and I feel like whatever this war was that made her lose her first husband, I feel like it might have also desolated her either tribe or nation or country or land at the time too. That they went through a period of lack of resources, of great challenges, of great hardships. And this is an incredibly strong woman. We've had a lot of strong women come through, which is not surprising because really, life is hard. And it really does take grit to get through things. And she's saying that this first period of her life was filled with great hardship. That I'm wondering if this was some sort of arranged marriage in the past. And I'm almost hearing multiple lifetimes of hers coming through with this, that she has incarnated more than once. And that maybe, that's what she's saying, that this first karmic relationship, the more dark karmic relationship, that this was actually a past life relationship that was, that was like an arranged marriage in the past, and that these two were like even rivals, that it goes back another lifetime too, that they were like rivals in another lifetime, and that they were kind of like warring with each other, always in competition with each other, these two souls, and that they kept incarnating together to try and work it out, to overcome their differences, to see eye to eye, but they always wound up battling one with another. And she's saying, regardless of this, she cared for him deeply. She loved him deeply. And she was devastated when this happened, because not only did she feel like she lost him, not only did she feel like she lost her husband, but she lost the center point of her life. And then everything around her started changing on whatever her societal scale was at that time, which I feel like because of the war, it caused like either this is the Great Depression, or it could be further back, and it was like a famine. It was like extreme hardship, and that she was going through. So it was like this shock to her system. I feel like she had children at this time when this happened, and all of a sudden she was forced in this position of being a single mother in a time period where that wasn't very very common, and that it was seen, like, really looked down upon in that society to be single, and especially to have to go at it alone. And I feel like she was put in this position of having to figure out how to pull herself up by her bootstraps, because her whole tribe or nation was going through hardship. It wasn't just her. And it was like, that is where she learned what she was made of. That is where she learned about her true grit. I don't know why that word keeps coming through right now, but it is grit, and maybe that is a word she likes to use. I feel like she had to pull herself out of this darkness, out of this desert. She's saying it was like a storm in the desert that just came out of nowhere. She's saying, now I've actually never really lived in like a desert. I mean, sort of, but not like a very, very hot, dry, desolate desert. I've lived in some places that are similar to deserts, and it's hot and dry, but not like a complete Sahara type of desert. And what she's giving me is, so I don't know if this is true, but this is what she's saying, because it's not coming from my experience, is that in the desert, that everything will be just fine, and it's like storms just come out of nowhere. That it's just like there's this quiet, there's this stillness, and then there's this violent, rapid storm that comes in and thrashes. And I'm seeing like, it's like a beautiful, hot, sunny day, and then all of a sudden this rain comes, and the rain doesn't just come in a drizzle, it comes in like this, she's saying, in this violent storm that floods the barren earth and causes landslides and mudslides and lightning. And she's giving me this image of that as an analogy of what she felt like she was going through during this part of her life, that she had to support her family with little resources, feeling completely decimated by the reality of life. And here she had married this first man, her first husband, Yun, and I feel like they always had a little bit of I feel like it was a playfulness with their relationship, but it was also like this constant competition with one another that has come through with prior lifetimes. And I'm hearing that that it wasn't the happiest of relationships, but it also wasn't the worst. She really did love him. She just felt like it was immaturity on both their ends, because they were both so young and naive to the world, and they had all this karma to work out with one another. and that was stopped short because he was gone. And for a long time, she's saying that she felt, as she was going through all this, she was so mad at him, even though she wouldn't admit that to anybody, that she felt abandoned by him on a spiritual level, because she felt like everything was placed on her shoulders, and she didn't feel like it should have to be her responsibility. But she realized, she's saying, that from that experience, she was meant to have it because it forced her growth on an exponential level. And that it was actually that terrible, she's saying, that terrible desert storm, that terrible desert, there's the storm that came and wiped out her life, that it was actually that led to her biggest growth in this, and throughout many lifetimes actually, that was a pivotal moment in all her lifetimes, she's saying. And that it was actually that devastation that led her to meeting her real karmic lover, her real soulmate. And she's saying that you are of the lineage of this relationship, that your genes, your seed is the word she used, your seed ties back to this relationship, which is the real soulmate, her real twin flame. And she's saying that that after she was decimated, that she had lost all hope in love, she had lost all hope in beauty, she had lost all hope in the future of her life, and that she was in a very dark place. But she didn't give up, and she pushed forward. She pushed forward for her children, for her family members, and she provided, I'm hearing. She did the hard things, and she made sure that everybody else could eat. She made sure that her children were taken care of. She made sure that she was taken care of, because she had to be in that position to take care of everyone else. And I'm hearing that she's saying that love came for her when she believed in it the least. That she had lost all hope, not just in love, but she's saying that a loss in belief in love is actually like a loss in belief in the capacity. I'm trying to hear what she's saying. It's like the capacity for creation of life is what she's saying. That it's the loss in the capacity of the utmost. She keeps referencing it back to creativity, and I'm getting like this image of creativity of the soul, and that love, the way she's describing it, and with this second karmic lover of hers, this soulmate lover of hers, was like an unleashing and an awakening of her true heart potential and her true creative potential, is what I'm hearing. And that she's relating love and romantic love within the spiritual sense to the creation potential, like, of a soul, almost like art, is what she's saying. That it's like that when she was going through that dark period, she had shut off her heart, and by shutting off her heart, she shut off her creative growth in her soul, and nothing could flourish. But this other karmic lover came into her life and helped not just her to heal her wounds by loving her, and helping her, but also helped her to open up that part of her heart that opened her soul back up to a part of who she was meant to be, which had to do with her true creative potential throughout many lifetimes, so on a spiritual level. And the creative potential. It's like a potential for, I'm seeing it as growth, and she's connecting creation and growth, and she's also connecting it with like art, because like, and music, because all forms of creativity come out of love, she's saying. Whether it's music or art, or no matter what it is you're trying to create and bring forth in this world, comes from a place of true passionate love. And she's saying that that is what she had, and that is the lineage that you come from, and that is, you're from that branch of this family tree. And she's saying, because she had children with both men, that she has descendants from both, and that she was meant to have these different branches, these different lines that came through, because these children were of different karmic heritage, she's saying, from different lifetimes. And yet these children's karma was intertwined, and that it was karmic healing for her descendants as much as it was karmic healing for her in her lifetime. So it was like an intertwining of healing of all these souls that wanted to incarnate together to fix things, or try and mend things, and try and better themselves by meeting each other again in this lifetime, and intertwining their destinies, which is what she's saying family is. And she's taking it from the broad sense. You know, of course, there is the genetic family, but she's saying, you know, whomever it is that we are connecting with and feeling as family, that is an intertwining of destinies. Like if you're adopted, she's saying that these are intertwining relationships that you chose, or they chose, to maybe have a second chance to try and fix things that they might have done wrong to you in past lifetimes. And maybe they repeated those same mistakes this lifetime, but it's about intertwining of destinies to try and better one another, and to try and open one another's hearts up again, and to revitalize the heart again. And I feel like that was a big part of her karmic lesson during that lifetime. Now let's pull some more cards, pile number 3. We're going to pull some astrological cards to get some information on her energy, maybe what signs she represented, or just more about her and her energy. So I've already shuffled, because I take forever shuffling, so I pre-shuffled, but I have not looked at the cards yet, so let's take a look. We have Capricorn, I use, and Earth element stability. This is so interesting. Now, I was really feeling Taurus, but these are both Earth signs, so I think it's super interesting, because I definitely feel like this ancestor of yours was an Earth sign. And the fact we were talking about true grit, like that is the definition of a Capricorn. Really, Capricorn can buckle down and get anything done. And Capricorn is the sign of well, we know it's the sign of the goat, but it's the sign that weathers the storm more than anyone else.